based upon, we talked about emergent curriculum, you talked about process versus product, and you emphasize the process more in terms of your program. But how do you know that the kids are actually learning if you don't have, like, how does that assessment take place as you observe that process?
We do a lot of anecdotal note-taking, more authentic assessment with the children in the classroom. So you'll see the teachers taking notes on what they're seeing with the children while they're doing activities. So if we had glass stones on the table and clay, you might notice a child counting as they're putting those pieces into the clay, or talking about the colors they see, or mixing the paints and talking about the colors they see. So some of those things that we're looking for in assessment, we can assess through the activities that they're doing, rather than sitting down and asking them, what color is this, what color is this? More authentic ways to assess the children and to get what they know.
How do you address challenging behaviors in the classroom in terms of management? And we're at the end of the year, and so the children have been very much socialized in terms of, classroom community and rules and agreements. So think back to the beginning of the year. What's that process like?
The first 6 weeks of school are kind of building the boundaries and introducing the kids to some of those basic things. Some of our children have been here to the toddler program before us, so they know a little bit about some of those things within our social curriculum. But the first 6 weeks of school, we spend a lot of time talking about what we want our community to look like, and what we want it to feel like, and what a safe community feels like, and what being friends in the classroom feels like, and what are some things we can do to make sure we're safe at school. So we don't come into the beginning of the school year with a set of rules for the children and say, this is how we are going to behave at school. We talk about, things you can do to help friends. We talk about, we handle a lot of it as it comes up. And I think those are the best learning moments for these kinds of behaviors. So if a child were to take a toy from another child, we haven't had a long lesson on sharing toys before this has happened, but when this happens, a teacher might come up and facilitate that. He took that toy from you, how did that feel? And the other child would express, I want that toy. And so the teacher in the beginning is a big facilitator in that problem-solving process and that problem-solving piece. So we see ourselves as kind of the facilitator in that role, rather than the judge and jury in fixing it for kids. And the value in that is just that the kids then are learning how to build those conflict resolution skills. And seeing what that looks like at the beginning of the year versus where we are now is so amazing, because now kids are able to do those things kind of on their own. They're giving each other messages, and they're letting each other know when that's not okay, or if it is okay. And we've been talking a lot about something we introduced a few weeks ago called friendship moves and friendship blocks. And at this point in the year, we started to talk about things that kids can do to help each other, and that's a friendship move, because you're helping them move into the next step of friendship. But if you do something that's hurtful or unkind or exclusionary, that's more of a friendship block. And so we introduced this very briefly with the kids just a few weeks ago, and they are just taking off with it. They're using it with each other. They're telling their families at home, that was a friendship move, that was a friendship block. And it's really resonated with them. So things like that at this point in the year have really helped the children to kind of carry on what they've learned at the beginning of the year and even take it a step further.
I noticed in terms of the snacks, the presentation, and the way that the children get the snacks. Can you describe that process?
We have families sign up to bring snack for the classroom, and they bring maybe 2 or 3 items prepared, pre-cut, ready for the children to have. And this is one of the ways we bring math into our learning in the classroom. And so the children will have 3 plates of food there. Maybe there'll be string cheese, a fruit, and some crackers. So we encourage parents to bring healthy snacks for the kids, so that it's a balanced snack and that all the items are healthy food choices. And then the children, when they're ready for snack, we set this up in the morning on the counter with some number cards, and the number cards would show a number and also the corresponding dots. So they can have 3 pieces of cheese, there'd be a number 3, and then 3 dots on the card for them to see. So this helps the kids who are still learning one-to-one correspondence, and also the kids who already have that are learning the number recognition as well. So it's one of the ways we bring math in. And we tell the children when they're ready for snack to go and wash their hands. So, excuse me, they would wash their hands and then come on over and get a plate, and then take as many as it indicates onto their plate and go back to the table and then have some snack. And when they're finished with what's on their plate, they're welcome to come and have some more. In the beginning of the year, the children are this is such a novel process that they're really into it, and will spend a lot of their time at the snack table getting snack because they're able to do it independently, and that's a new experience for them. But by this time of the year, they're pretty good at knowing how much they need and when they need it, or when they need more. So at this point in the year, they're pretty independent in self-serve snack and regulating that themselves.
I noticed that the teachers eat lunch with the children. Can you tell us why that happens?
We think lunchtime at school is an important time of day. Even our kids who go home for half day have lunch with us in the classroom. It's such a social time for children where they have a chance to talk with each other at a different level, and maybe even with different children that they don't normally interact with on the playground. And we hear a lot of conversations happening about food when they're noticing foods that other kids are eating and they're not eating. So some of those things come up at lunchtime. So they get some exposure to different foods that the friends are eating in the classroom. And then just conversations about family and home life and things like that tend to come up more when we're having lunchtime. Those kinds of short stories are shared. And with teachers sitting at the table as well, we're able to have some conversations about that as well with the kids. We don't use it as a time to regulate the kids or correct the kids or even interview the kids for what's going on at home. It's just a casual conversation time for the teachers and the children at the table, and we really enjoy it as well as the children.
Is reflection a regular part of your practice?
It is, in many ways. I think, and on many different levels. Our teachers do a lot of self-reflection in their practices, in their planning, in their, at the end of the day, what the day looked like, in their interactions. Did that work? Did that not work? And with each other, we do a lot of that too, where we're talking about a situation that we handled with a child and sharing with the other two teachers what that looked like, and talking about, this really didn't work for me. When you've had this happen with this child, what have you done? So we do a lot of reflecting with each other regarding behavior, regarding curriculum, and just practice, what we're doing in the classrooms. The reflecting is such an important piece for us in our curriculum planning. So when we sit down as a team, a classroom team sits down once a week and meets, and then we do as a preschool, we sit down all together once a week and do some planning, and then we have a division meeting once a month, where we all talk about more broader topics.
Should we wait?
Do we wait?